Okay, this is Lori Ballen from Ballen Vegas and Ballen Network, National Real Estate Lead Generation Business, and I'm going to share with you today how to change a couple settings in your IDX registration. So if you are using IDX Broker, this is going to be of benefit to you. One of the things that I've been studying, I also have a marketing company, Ballen Brands. And in our marketing company, we are helping real estate agents take control of their marketing platform. We're teaching them how to lead generate and get great websites up and running, how to cultivate leads, long-term conversion and cultivation techniques, and things like that. And one of the things that we've been testing and measuring and studying on our own real estate business is the forced registration settings. You know, when do you force registration? Do you force registration? Do you offer registration but let them close the box? And at what point? And what does the registration form need to say? And should you include a caption? How many fields? And all of that good stuff. This is what we're studying diligently. We're at Ballen Brands. We are living on the edge of disruption, testing and measuring, poking the box, doing everything we can, and bringing it back forward to you guys as we really learn how to disrupt this this digital real estate lead industry. It's one thing to generate leads. It's one thing to rank on the search engines. It's a whole nother thing on how and when and what the process looks like and sources and where better leads come from or warmer or whatever, how long they take to convert, all of that good stuff. That's us. All right. So I was asked to make a video on how to control IDX registration. And one of the reasons too, our company Ballen Brands builds real estate websites. We call them Brew. Ballen real estate websites, and they are powered with IDX Broker. And IDX Broker we chose for several reasons. One of the reasons is that it releases the IP address, and when we have that lead's IP address, we are able to go in and put it into our tracking software and see where that lead came from. So that was a mandatory for us. Another reason is the control of the settings and the colors and the CSS and the shapes and the styles and all the different things that we're able to do. And now I got to tell you, I'm in love with them because of the ability to control our registration settings. And it's so funny. This was actually just a wish list item. I was just wishing we could do this. And my COO, Jeff, looked into it and said, hey, guess what? We can. And so we've been playing with these registration settings. So here's what I'll tell you first of all. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. I only share what I test and measure and what works for me and what works for my marketing clients, right? And so here is what I have found is the sweet spot for me personally. When somebody goes to one of my, they go to my website and they look at a house. Let's just pop open my IDX here. What I have set on my website is that they can look at as many properties as they want. They can do as many searches as they want. They can look at as many map searches as they want, and I don't ask them to register. The only time that I ask them to register is when they want to save a property and set up their own account for alerts. That would be obviously a pop-up that happens when they go to save something or register or email it to somebody, whatever. Or when they want to look at pictures, okay? So automatically they're given three pictures of the property, and we're actually changing some things in our CSS settings to make these buttons bigger. Our theme made them tiny, and we need to go back and get these to be big buttons. And so this view gallery needs to be a big green button or something right under there. But anyway, it still works. As it is, it still works because we got 7 organic leads in the last 24 hours just from this one registration, okay? On what the one registration setting. And what that setting is when people look at pictures and they click view photo gallery, this is what happens. They go to this next page. Oh, that's so funny. I think I just I turned it off on my last webinar. Hold on, let me bring that back here. Let me check my settings if it doesn't pop up, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, view photo gallery. There it goes. How weird. There was one freebie in there. That was interesting. Okay, so this is what's supposed to happen. So they go to click on photos and they want to see the photo gallery. They can see that there's a slideshow back there. They can see that this is happening and they want to see these pictures and there's the box and they can't close it. It's going to force them to register. Now I did change what the form says. I don't like the standard form. I do want to make this this bigger. I'm going to put, it gets better from here, make that like a an H2 heading, make it bigger, or H1 heading. So big, bold, green. And instead of it being red and saying, hey, you have to register, I changed it and made it more of an offer. So I'm telling them that you're about to gain access to the full MLS Las Vegas database. You'll be able to see photos, tours, property by map, by feature, by neighborhood, and more. When you decide you're ready to see houses, give us a call, and then they fill out this form. So like I said yesterday, I had 7 registrations. You know, I'll have to go look and see what that total conversion rate is then for the visits from yesterday to lead. Typically, we see about 3 to 4% when they're on these IDX pages that they register, and that's fantastic for me. I'm perfectly happy. I'm happy with that. I've heard claims of people saying that they have up to 7% lead capture for their IDX pages, but 3 to 4 from everything I've studied is exactly where you want to be. Anything above that's gravy, fantastic. So here's the form, and it's all testing and measuring, A/B testing. If I say different things in the form, if I make the fonts bigger, if I make it green instead of red, if I put a video in here, if I make it a whatever, can I get a higher conversion rate? So that comes in later in our studies. Today, we're just looking at straight up, here you go, register to view the photos, nothing too fancy, okay? So going back to our, this is how the registration is. Now, on pay per click, so this is, I'm on Google AdWords and I'm saying I'm willing to pay $1.72 for everybody that Googles Las Vegas homes for sale or whatever it is. And they're going to come visit these pages. Now, I can still leave the settings as a default. If they look at photos, they've got to register. And I still think that's fine. Or we can get super aggressive and say, you know what, we don't want them browsing around and everything. If I'm spending $1 on that click or $1.72 on that click, I want them registering right away. So it's up to you how you want to do this. Again, I suggest A/B testing and measuring which works better, forced registration on the onset or just on the pictures. Kind of play with your conversion rates, and I can show you where you control that here in IDX. So this would be your default global settings. Now this is here. If you go over to leads and you go to lead registration preferences, right here I'm in my custom settings. Click on custom, and over here is my thank you page. This is where your conversion code goes. So if you're going to track conversions on Google AdWords, or you're going to track conversions on Facebook ads or Twitter ads or Pinterest ads or whatever it might be, put your tracking code here on the thank you page, and then it will track how many of those clicks became a lead. Okay, it's got to go on the success page, the thank you page right here. Right? Then we're going to go down here to global registration rules, and this is where you can control all of your settings, okay? You can say, I want to force people to register on the third visit, the third page they look at. Or you can say, that here's where force is. So this is force. I'm going to force them to look at 2 properties, and then we're done. Now you can change your message here by clicking custom. And you can do all kinds of fancy things here with your registration on how you want them to register to view IDX properties, what kind of text you want to use, images, videos, whatever. I haven't tested videos on here yet, but it's got a full HTML editor, so it's possible. I'll have to play with that and find out. So request registration, or you just leave it off, okay? So we're going to say, you know what? We don't mind how many search pages they look at. We're not going to ask them to register. You can decide to make them register only on map pages. You can make them register only on results pages, detail pages. So only when they go in and look at the properties and they click on details of the properties, you can have them register. Here's where you can do the photo gallery. So you can request registration or you can force registration. And this is my setting. I have everything else off, and I have forced registration on only when they look at photos. And here's my graphic. So I'm going to make this bigger now because I said I wanted to make it bigger. I want to make the whole thing, all the font bigger. I was not crazy about that font. Oh, that was weird. That didn't work. Okay, hold on. Let's do that. And then let's make this a H2, H1. I still don't know if that's where I want it. Okay, we'll test it. So then we'll go to save changes, updating changes everything. Yes, okay. So these are global settings. So this is going to change everything across the board on all of your regular pages that you've created. And those would be here. If we go to designs, pages, here's all your pages. Instead of using a global setting, you actually could just change them one by one by one and have no global settings applied. So right here, I could say, I could go back here to designs, widgets. I'm sorry, we're at preferences, lead generation. There we go. Lead generation preferences, custom settings, global registration rules. Let's just turn all this off. I don't know why it's defaulting back to those checkboxes. That's so weird. So we're just going to leave this all off. Save changes, yes. Save changes, yes. Save changes, yes. I just want to make sure I got everything off. Save changes, yes. Save changes, yes. Now let me refresh and make sure it did it all. There we go. Okay. So now I have no registration on the way I did it here. Now I can go back to the individual pages. So I'm going to go back to our pages, designs, pages. Now instead of a global setting, I can choose registration at the page level. So I can say, you know what? Let me go down here to photo gallery. The only place I want them to have to register is on photos. So we're going to go down here to, there's your details page. You could force it at the details. We're going to force it to photo gallery. So I'm going to go right here to preferences, photo gallery, edit. And I'm going to go to lead registration and I'm going to say force registration at 1. And then I'm going to custom, oh, my page disappeared. You are almost there. See all photos, tours, details, and more. Save your favorite properties and even set up an alert when one hits the market that fits your needs. Just put in your name, phone, and best email and get instant access. Okay, and then maybe I'm going to do this. I'll make it all bigger font. I like big fonts. I'm going to make this a different color. Okay, maybe I'm going to put that in italics, something like that. Okay, now you can get fancy with this, like we said before, but right now I just want to leave that there. I'm going to click Save Changes, and then so now there's no global settings. I only have the settings set up on this one page. So anytime anybody views any page that has a photo gallery, they will now have to register. Okay, now the next step would be creating pages where you control the settings for a particular page that you're going to use for an ad, pay-per-click ad, Facebook ad, something like that. Now you can just leave it how it is and have them register at the photo gallery. I think that's fine too. But if you decide you want to be more aggressive, which some of my clients do, then you're going to want to control these settings in the page element. So here's what you do. Instead of creating a new page, we're now going to create a new link. A little bit different. It technically is still a page, so it's kind of funny, but it's a link and it has its own separate registration settings. So we're going to go to Preferences, Saved Links, Create Link. Just like we were going in here to build a widget or anything else, we're going to go build this saved link. So let's say we're going to run an ad on Google AdWords and it's going to be Las Vegas foreclosures under 200,000, right? That's going to be a hot ad. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go to address. Now our fields will look a little bit different. It depends on what your MLS offers and what you pulled in here to your search. But I'm going to go to next and I'm going to say, okay, I want all homes in Las Vegas. under 200,000. And I'm going to show only single family homes, not condos and stuff. I'll put 25 properties on the page, and that will also create a map with those 25 properties. And I only want active listings, nothing under contract, and I said I wanted to have a pool. There's my settings, okay? Then I'm going to go and click next step, and I'm going to give this page a title. So it's, oh, I forgot foreclosures. Just for the record, foreclosures, on mine, I have a separate REO, yes, foreclosure equals yes. I'll have to go back and edit it. So I would go ahead and put that in there. So then we got to title it something. So I'm going to call it Las Vegas foreclosures under 200,000 with a pool, something like that. Okay. Actually, wow, those are really hot, huh? Under 200,000 with a pool in Vegas. Woo, mama, those are some good properties. Okay, now I'm not titling this for SEO. I really don't want this listing to even be indexed on the search engines. It's for pay-per-click. Okay, so I'm not worried about keywords or anything like that. So here, now you give it a link name, and so I might just call it Las Vegas foreclosures with a pool or something. Whatever, I'm going to know this is my pay-per-click ad. Okay, now people can see that page title and they can see that URL. So it's up to you how you want to title. You can spell out the whole thing. Sometimes I'll put a little code at the end, CPC or something like that, or XL or whatever it is, so that I know what that was for Facebook, or that was for Bing, or that was for Twitter ad, or that was for Pinterest ad, or that was for Google ad, whatever. Okay, so I'm not going to put in meta tags. I'm not going to put in keywords because this isn't for SEO. This is for pay-per-click, and I'm not going to include it in the link display. And then I'm going to hit save and manage links. Okay, now this is how you go back and edit. We need to do it because I messed up that foreclosures, and now I actually want that. I want to run that ad, so I'm going to go back to save links, and let me see the one I just created for foreclosures. We're going to edit it because now I said it's Las Vegas foreclosures under 2,000 with a pool. So I need to go in and select that it's foreclosures. Here it is. Yes. Now I'm going to preview it really quick and make sure there's properties, by the way, because I may not have any Las Vegas homes under 2,000 with a pool that are foreclosures. Yes, I do. There you go. There's 5 of them. Okay. So this is what they're going to see. So now we need to go back, and we'll open that again in a second after we do registration. So I'll go ahead and save it. Now we need to go into, go back into our saved links and find that page, and go into edit preferences, and right here, lead registration. So as it is right now, there's no special settings on here. And since our global registrations have no settings either, there would be no registration of any kind on here. If we had our global registration set up to have them register at photos, then that would carry over to these. So global registration does carry over to these, whether it's on or off, okay? And so we have ours off. We went in and set up the map. Technically, it still would force at registrations because the map we set it up on the page view. So the photo part would still have them register, but nothing else. There's nothing else set up. So I can say, you know what? No, I don't want them getting that far. I want to force registration, and I'm going to force them immediately. Okay. And maybe I'm going to change this message in some way. I'm not going to do it today for the sake of time. Click Save Changes, and now we'll go back and look at it. So now we're going to go to the saved links, go to Manage. We're going to open that property, and there you go. So now before they can get anywhere, they have to they're forced to register. So that would be the idea of a pay-per-click ad. Now you can still go in and change this to 1 view, 2 views, 3 views, 4 views, 5 views, 6 views, whatever you want. And the photos will still apply. It'll still have them register at the photos. You can go in there and say, I'm going to set everything up, the maps, everything. But you can do that per page level. So this is it. This is the beauty of IDX Broker, is having the ability to completely customize our registration settings at page levels, at global levels, at link levels. Pretty incredible. Honestly, I have one request left, IDX Broker, if you're listening, and that would be to allow us to control settings at the widget level. Because for those of us that like to build out pages and have our widgets, I would like to keep, instead of building saved links, I'd like to have them all on pages and be able to control the settings right there at the widget level. That would be one extra little plus for us. But anyway, so that's it. If you do need to get a website, if you haven't already done so, Ballen Real Estate websites are here for you over at ballenbrands.com, or you can give us a call at 702-917-0755 and speak with Jeff. We also do recurring content, blog posts, real estate articles, community pages, and of course, if you're looking to learn more about lead generation for your real estate business, hop on over to theballenmethod.com. At theballenmethod.com, you have access to a complete training curriculum, and you'll be able to learn right along with us and take training there. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we'd love your Las Vegas referrals in Vegas to our team over here at Ballen Vegas.